The Edge is an icon. Regardless of whether or not you love U2, you have to admit his innovations with guitar effects have undeniably impacted so much of the music we listen to today. So I figured, why not try my hand at replicating one of his riffs? I chose a track from U2's album, The Unforgettable Fire. No, not Pride in the Name of Love. I picked
From the Unforgettable Fire, this is Wire.
The Edge has been covered in countless videos, articles, and forums, so this should be pretty easy, right? Right? Wrong.
Oh no!
This was actually really difficult. I nearly lost my mind.
This is stupid and I hate it.
I circled the tone toilet for this video probably about 100 times.
You like get a breakthrough and then you're like, oh, there's this one thing, let me go chase it. And then you lose it, I'm back at nothing.
But here's what I got.
So I've been trying to replicate the tone on Wire.
Amazing song that nobody talks about.
Exactly.
Yes. From day one of liking this album, Wire and sort of Homecoming were my favorite tracks. Pride in the Name of Love is my least favorite track because you hear it all the time. And Wire always felt like, how is he doing it?
We're gonna be focusing on the intro to this song. Let's break it down. First, we have the dotted eighth main riff. This will be my primary focus. Then, when the band kicks in, we hear guitars in the left and right channels playing what I call rhythmic chucks. So how is this riff even played? Well, there are kind of two answers. Let me explain. I found a handful of YouTube tutorials that came out forever ago. Some were more accurate than others, but it gave me a good start. I still needed a little bit more to reference. Naturally, I looked up U2, Wire, live performance. There's only one I could find. It's like they played this song one time and then never played it again. And unfortunately, he's hidden behind a floor monitor for most of it. The Edge behind the wedge. After a while of listening to the record and the live performance, I finally got it.
Yeah, so it's... I know.
Then turn it back on.
It doesn't at all compute.
But something else caught my ear's attention. These versions of this riff have some differences.
It's in a different key.
Yeah.
What the crap?
Not only are they in different keys, the live version is very surgical and precise. And the recorded version is a little bit more loose. And there's a moment where you can hear the notes almost glide to the next part of the riff. And I think a big reason for this difference is because
It has to be a slide. On the record, when he plays the riff, there's this little metallic-y, scratchy thing that sounds like slide. That was my first instinct. I should have stuck with that instinct because I think I'm right.
There is.
you hear that? Boa.
I've heard this song 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Hi-Fi studio monitors, I've never played it on.
Right.
I think it's a slide, definitely. I've never thought that could be a slide.
In the live version, it's a little bit more like... This riff is actually a real head trip and just shows how creatively the Edge uses delay.
Oh my God, that's hard.
Also, it's important to note that I'm using the scratchy side of one of these picks. My dad mentioned to me that the Edge uses these blue picks that have a sort of texture on one side of them, so I figured can't hurt. Okay, so getting the riff is one thing, but what about the tone? I spent days tweaking,
Maybe we should need to turn the modulation up a little bit.
And recording and re-recording.
I'm gonna re-record this right now.
To try to nail this tone. Needless to say, it got pretty dark. In doing research for this record, I found a documentary about the making of the Unforgettable Fire. This was a part of a VHS that was released that included several music videos. You know what song there isn't a music video for? Yeah.
I didn't know this existed. 1984, Ireland in a castle.
Ireland in the castle.
Okay.
There's a Vox AC30 outside. My number one problem is I don't have a castle or a balcony to put my amp out on.
And you're not in Ireland where it's a little more damp, so the sound...
Yeah, exactly. Not one time do you see or hear them play the intro riff.
Okay.
So that's been my biggest problem.
For a Vox AC30, I'm going to use the UAD Ruby. Recently, the Edge has been using these UAD amp pedals in his live rig. The Edge used multiple guitars in the Unforgettable Fire sessions, but I do know for sure that he used a Stratocaster on this song. Even if it was just for the rhythmic chucks and the dimed chords, I know he used this to play the song live, so I'm gonna go with a Strat. To drive the amp a little bit, I'm gonna use the JHS Clover preamp because I know the Edge used the Boss FA1.
This came out in 84, the record came out in 84. Daniel Lanois gave him this unit. The Clover's based on this, and if you open the Clover, it even says the greatest record of 1984.
Yeah.
So even the Clover icon, Irish Clovers, Unforgettable, the whole thing is like ironically pointed to this project we didn't know we would do. Yeah, there's no mid control on this.
Yeah.
But the Vox amps are just really bright and chimey, so that's what really matters. Other amps can get close.
I have the mid sort of like at noon. I'm actually pulling them down a little bit. It's not really doing a whole lot.
And for delay, well, we know he used the Memory Man.
When you're like trying to investigate a record from 84, it's kind of simple in the fact of what existed, right? So there are not many delay pedals he could have used. We know he had a Memory Man because we hear the Memory Man on War. We hear it like on New Year's Day.
But he also used...
There's a delay released in 82 by Korg, the SDD 3000, I always say it wrong, whatever. That existed and he used it and it's digital. I think this is digital. I'm in the hole with you. We don't know. I don't know. If I had to guess, I'd say it's the Korg.
I'm going to use the JHS flight delay in digital mode with a little bit of vibrato. And don't forget the scratchy pick, it actually does make a difference. Ultimately, the tone I got is an attempt to approximate elements from the record and from the live version. So, in conclusion, what's even the point of trying to replicate somebody's tone? For one, I hope somebody out there can use this video to get even closer to nailing this riff than I did. Personally, I think I did okay giving you some tools to play this song live, but I feel like there's still a few stones left unturned.
Maybe this will spark something like underground U2 thing, like finally somebody addressed this, and then the Edge will come on and clear everything up. This is what I use.
Yeah, I hope so.
Secondly, studying this riff gives me so much appreciation for the Edge's creativity. These sounds are so familiar, we often take them for granted.
The Edge is a genius. Like him, hate him, never heard of him, you gotta admit, the guy was freaking living on the edge.
And last, I got to show Josh some stuff he had never seen before.
I didn't know this existed. I've heard this song 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I've never thought that could be a slide.
A word of caution before you start your next tone-chasing endeavor. Your favorite guitar players figured out their tones because they were doing just that, playing. When the Edge recorded Wire, I guarantee you he wasn't thinking,
in 20 years, I'm gonna be studied as the greatest ambient guitar player of all time. He was like, I just wanna make cool music with my friends.
So remember, if you're not having fun, then what's the point? Thank you so much for watching. Originally, I wanted to include a little bit about how I recorded the drums and the bass, but it just didn't fit in this video. So if you go over to JHS Extras, you can actually watch me go through my Pro Tools session and tell you about how I processed the drums and a little bit how I recorded the bass, as well as some alternate takes of this riff played on different guitars. So go over there and check it out. See you later.